different at the time, a little bit more of a prototype, but it's the same concept. They only raised $102,000 at the time. So you take a look at over $8 million bucks that they raised now, and they're not even meeting their campaign goals 7 months before. So what changed? A lot of you might ask. And actually, one big difference that two campaigns had was the video. So the content that they produced, the video that they made, was a lot more compelling, a lot better second time around. And I think a lot of times people forget how much content plays a role, or how important it is to have a good and compelling video content. A lot of times we'll oversee small details. As you can see in the case of Coolest, the smallest detail actually made the biggest difference. We're going to talk about this case study down the line. And $100,000 or already over $8 million bucks. So pay attention. Video is by far the most engaging ad format there is today online. You could think of the last banner. You can't really remember the last banner ad you saw. You can't probably recall last radio ad you saw or billboard ad, but probably you remember the video that your friends shared on Facebook. You tend to recall videos much better. You engage with it. You actually are fully immersed in it. So of anything that exists on the internet today, video is by far the most engaging and ad format online. I didn't say most effective, but I said the most engaging ad format that there is. The problem is video is really hard because it has a lot of components, and if you're not aware of all the components, you're gonna mess up. And like I like to say, for every one viral video success, there's a million failures. So my goal in this presentation is to kind of address this and make sure that we know and we're better positioned to be successful than failures. So what's the agenda for today? 5 things. We're going to talk about video production and how you can produce a video on a budget, and what the different types of, what are the popular formats of video production there are. We're going to talk about how to test for engagement and how to test your video just like you would test a banner ad or a contextual ad. How to optimize, how to distribute, and how to measure results. Making videos for startups is like to call it. So I like to classify most of the startup videos into 1 of 3 buckets. It is the explainer videos, the ones that you see where they have the problem and a solution, and it's usually animated and explains how the product works. It is the advertainment. It's a term that we've coined. Basically, it's an advertisement and it's entertainment at the same time. So it's usually like one of those viral videos or one of those really, really funny videos that a company made that you kind of find cool and appealing, and you start sharing and talking about it. We call that advertainment. And there's a Kickstarter type. So one of these kind of wow videos, or a video that explains some cool product on Kickstarter. And each one of them has their own little kind of intrinsities about them. So we're going to address one by one. So how do we create an explainer video on a budget? First and foremost, I think the most important thing in creating these videos is actually writing a good script. Most of the scripts follow the standard model of here's a problem, here's our solution, and kind of go from that. Anyone can write a script. It just takes a little bit of time because each word really does matter, and you want to make sure that it's succinct, to the point, and is easy to understand, so anyone watching your video can understand the problem and the solution you have for the problem you're addressing. Voiceover, you can buy a mic, you can do it all yourself with the computer and the software. You could also outsource it on Elance for 30 bucks, or if you're really cheap, you could do it on Fiverr for 5. Probably not the later. I would spend a little bit more on the voiceover. Storyboard, you can write it out with a with a pencil and a paper. You don't even need to use any programs. There's a lot of different software out there that you can do it on a computer with, but you obviously don't have to. The animation, you could actually do yourself. There's now a ton of software out there that will make a pretty compelling animation, and you don't have to hire a company or a firm to go out and create a really nice explainer video for you. You could do it yourself. One of these companies is called Video Maker FX. For pretty much $100, you can get access to create a really cool looking explainer video for your company. Other companies, some of you probably know, is Video, Go Animate, Animoto, Powtoon, all of them will accomplish the same thing, is helping you be the control and be the creator of your own explainer video. They don't cost all that much, and so if you are on a budget, if you're bootstrapping and you're trying to just create a simple explainer video, this will do. Screencasts, you can use Camtasia software. They have a product that allows you to screencast, and it's free up to 5 minutes, which is more than enough for most of the tech companies to explain what their product does. Music track, again, you could use something like Audio Jungle and license a music from there for $10, or you can use a number of free sources of stock music files, and then you can all put it all together with either iMovie, which will cost you $15, or Adobe Creative Suite that will cost you $60 a month. So for less than $200, you can really put together your own explainer video. It would take some time to learn things of the trade and so on. But I'm sure a lot of you are sitting here and saying, well, explainer video is cool. Maybe I will do an okay job with it, and maybe this will not really have big results. I think that video needs to be really high quality. I need to spend a lot of money. I need to put a lot of production costs if I want to see the same return. Well, there's a small company called Dropbox. Drew, back in the early days, he was spending a lot of money on AdWords. He was actually spending like $300, $400 to get a paying customer, which was he was basically burning money at the time. And he created a really simple screencast of what his software would be, and he put it up on Dig. And in his video, he kind of made a lot of kind of jokes and references to what Dig community that related to Dig community. This video got uploaded to the front page of Dig. Obviously, brought a lot of organic traffic, but his signups went from 5,000 users to 75,000 users literally overnight with a very simple, scrappy explainer video. Advertisement videos, there's two ways of doing them. One is you can do it yourself, which I don't really recommend unless you really are a pro and you know what you're doing and you have friends that come from that industry. Or two, hire a professional firm. If you're going to do it yourself, you'll have to rent or buy a bunch of video equipment. You need to know how to use different software. You will need a crew, you will need actors, you will need other things to make it work. Versus if you hire professionals, they kind of do this on a daily basis, and you get a bigger bang for your buck. As such, here's 3 companies that I love. We don't have any affiliation with them, besides the fact that the first one we've used extensively to produce videos for our company, and they've done great work for us. But yeah, these are some of the 3 companies that I would recommend if you're looking to create a cool video about your startup. Glassmarker, Demodoc, and the last one is actually Portal A. Interactive. These are 3 companies that specialize in creating really cool, catchy, like entertainment type videos for startups. And obviously, a lot of us know the success of Dollar Shave Club. I'm going to talk a little bit about Orabrush. And the third one is our own video that got about 6 million views, and we got a lot of customers from it as well. So if you create a cool, compelling video content that's viral, people will share, people will talk about it, and you'll get customers out of it as a result. And then Kickstarter type videos. So when you compare the first coolest video and the second coolest video, it's kind of interesting to take a look at both videos, but you notice some very simple things or kind of things that you would think that are very general. In some ways, one is, the one video starts out with like a very loud noise. It has the sound level is much higher, so it engages you right away. It shows people using the product, versus the first one, it doesn't really show that well. It shows you how the video quality is much higher, so they shot it with a different equipment. They showed the capabilities of the product. They highlighted benefits and features of the product, and they had a call to action in the end. So very simple stuff, like have a call to action at the end. Make sure you're kind of showing the benefits of your product in the best way possible. Have a certain production quality. Have customers, people using the product, and capture people's attention within the first 5 seconds. For them, they had a cool product. I think coolest is a cool product. It's just in the first video they failed to show it. And they didn't grab the attention. It didn't really look really cool. The second one, they kind of did it slightly different than the first 30 seconds. Both videos are about 2.5 minutes long, but the first 30 seconds you can tell a huge difference. And these are the things that they focus on. Is let's showcase our customers using the product. Let's use higher production video quality. Make sure we show the different features and benefits of the product the best way possible, and have some call to action for people to follow on after they watch the video. And now they've raised over $8 million as a result. Once you've created a video, it's very important that you test it out. And I can't even stress this more than enough. And there's different tools you could use. You could use our platform for testing engagement. There's Wistia, which is a hosting platform that allows you, if you want to host your video on your website with Wistia, they'll allow you to track this engagement. And then YouTube too. If you put your video on YouTube, YouTube has a really good analytics product that will show you how well the audience engages with their video. And why it's important is, as you can see in this video, as like the time goes on, more and more people drop off. Well, a company like Orabrush, they obsessed with this. They really treated this like this was a landing page or something like that. It takes a lot of man hours to shoot different clips. So they took their entire video, which was probably like 20 minutes long, and they just different scenes they would test and see where the drop-offs in engagement would happen, and they would just cut until they got this like clip that was super engaging, right? And they tested over 100 clips as a result. They just took one after the other. They really put their blood, sweat, and tears. But as a result, once they uploaded, people were actually sharing and talking about it. But more importantly for the business, they sold over 2 million products as a result. Orabrush is a tongue scraper, and they only focus on YouTube marketing as their marketing channel. They've been extremely successful with that. But they've kind of taken it, a couple of steps beyond what most people do. That kind of hope to upload the video, hope that it does well. They actually tested every little thing. So they uploaded different clips, they uploaded different scenes, and tested them for engagement and cut where the engagement dropped off. And one of the biggest things is optimization. Even the smallest adjustments could have the biggest impact on the video. The 3 things I would say anyone has to focus on is thumbnail, title, description, and keywords. First thing we'll start is with the thumbnail. As you think of the thumbnail, it's basically whenever someone searches for a certain keyword, this is the thing that they're going to see. They're going to see your thumbnail. So one of the best ways to test which thumbnail does best is you can create a banner ad out of your thumbnails that you're looking to use and see which ones gets the highest CTR, click-through rate, and based on that, you could actually realize which of these images really works best and will work the best as a thumbnail. If you're too cheap to do that, to spend money on banner ad testing, what you could do is you could just upload this image with a link to your YouTube video on your Facebook page and see which image will get the most likes. It's the most simple, kind of easy, your little circle of friends will test it out for you, but it does work, and it will give you an indication. If you were trying to choose between 10 different images for a thumbnail, it will give you an indication of which one would get the highest engagement and will convert the best. And a third, and probably a lot more robust method, is to set up a landing page, upload a video with 2 different thumbnails, drive traffic to both pages, and see which one that gets the highest click-through rates from random folks coming into your website. And you can do that with Optimizely and YouTube. Title is a very important one that a lot of people oversee. In this title, as you can see, they repeated breath twice. If you go on Google and you search for bad breath, you actually will notice that this is a video that will show up in the first front page of the results, because in their title, in their description, and their keywords, they have bad breath repeated multiple times. Longer titles tend to do a lot better than shorter titles. Titles with lists like top 10 things, top 5 things, top 3 things about San Francisco tend to be shared more, tend to be looked more. For some reason, lists that have 10 in them tend to do better than all other types of lists. So if you're going to have a video that's going to have lists in them, using 10 and just using top 10 of something tends to perform much better. Make sure your title is relevant to the people you're targeting, and make sure that you have some kind of emotions that are, if you use emotional words in your title, it tends to attract a lot more attention. Emotion and actionable words in your title tend to attract a lot more attention and get a lot more shares as a result. And then the 4th piece is video distribution. There's a lot of video distribution. This is just kind of like a very small peek into the world of video distribution. There's pre-roll companies like YouTube, Brightroll, Udemy, Adapt TV, Videology. There are native companies like Nativo, ShareThrough. There are companies like us, that are here and there, here and then even in Europe now, that work with social games and Facebook and other platforms to distribute video. And then there's also companies that do video distribution and mobile. The world of video distribution is very large, and depending on what your KPIs are and depending on what your goals are, the different solutions will fit you best. But for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to focus on YouTube. So AdWords for video is what the YouTube's product is called. I would say some of the general tips I would give you from running different ads and seeing how the YouTube product works. I would say the videos that are longer than 90 seconds are not a good fit for AdWords. Make sure that your first 5 seconds get the attention of the viewer, because people will otherwise skip it, as you know. Keep your content short, succinct, and to the point. Minimize as much waste as possible. You could look at your competitors' ads for ideas, and define the action you want the viewer to take at the end of the video. I would say, as you do AdWords for video, I would advise to focus on TrueView rather than other things. For one, TrueView doesn't charge you if somebody skips your ads, so you're kind of getting a lot of free exposure there. And two, it's just a much better product in terms of targeting people, because if you're playing for the search product, somebody searches for a random keyword, clicks on your video by accident, you get charged for it. With TrueView, unless people are interested, they're not going to watch the whole thing. And then within TrueView, make sure that you target correctly. So you can actually target by different categories. You can see where in front of which videos your video is playing, and you can optimize based on that. So you can target your target audience. You can target the people that are trying to reach your potential customers. You can see which videos are playing these videos. So sometimes you will be very surprised that your video got played 10,000 times in front of a Minecraft video when you're doing something completely different. And you have the ability to exclude those placements, so you can opt out of them and optimize for the ones that are performing best. And you can, as you kind of start to grow your account and see some results, you can start to optimize for CPV cost per view cost, and go from there and test. In the end of the day, the video is, again, like I said, video is a very crowded space. There's millions of videos being uploaded on a weekly basis to the web, and most of them don't really get much exposure. As a result, I would say for every video that you upload and put in a lot of times, you probably will fail 4 or 5 times. And just like content, like any blog post you would write, it's kind of part science and part art, and kind of putting in the hard work and paying attention to the smallest details will help you succeed the most. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.